watching New York One News all morning.
And finally, a man from Long Island named Ron Douglas has the secret recipe on page 15 of the Post this morning. As part of a website he created and a self-published book of copycat recipes of restaurant favorites, here it is. He doesn't know for sure, but he spent a lot of time experimenting and believes that he has replicated the classic Colonel Sanders 11 herbs and spices recipe. And if you want to make KFC replica chicken at home, that's how you do it. It's in the Post this morning, although you can find it in his book as well. Let's look at some of what's in the papers on this Monday.
You're watching the PIX News at 10.
Did you ever wonder exactly what those 11 herbs and spices in KFC's original recipe are?
No.
No? Surprisingly, a lot of people do. In fact, a chef from our area says he has figured out the answer to that and many other fast food secrets. Rob Hoyle was at a KFC in Flushing where arguably the most famous secret recipe in the world may finally be out of the bag.
With 11 herbs and spices, Kentucky Fried Chicken's original recipe is perhaps one of the most closely guarded trade secrets. But Ron Douglas claims he's figured out just how the Colonel does it.
I use oregano, garlic, chili powder, onion salt, sage, marjoram.
Ron admits it took lots of chicken and years to duplicate the secret recipe.
The hardest part to cloning them is trying to figure out the different amounts of the ingredients.
So what do patrons of this KFC on Northern Boulevard in Flushing think about the possibility of doing it at home?
We're all capable of doing it. We can even do it better. You never know.
I think the secret recipe is still hidden, so it's rather difficult to duplicate.
In his statement, KFC told us Colonel Sanders' secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices is one of the most famous recipes in the world, and the precautions taken to safeguard the identity of the ingredients is second to none. The statement went on to say that plenty of people over the years have tried to duplicate the recipe, but say there's only one place to get the original, and that's right here at the KFC in Flushing or any other KFC location. Ron challenges anyone to tell the difference between his chicken and the Colonel's. He's so into cooking and figuring out what goes into the dishes we love at the most popular restaurant chains, he left his six-figure Wall Street job to write America's Most Wanted Recipes, the book revealing how to prepare 200 meals from 57 different eateries, including Applebee's, Denny's, and Cheesecake Factory. Ron's book hit bookshelves about 2 weeks ago and is selling really well. Being the quick-witted reporter that I am, I asked Ron if his book is selling like hotcakes, to which he replied, like IHOP hotcakes, page 107. Rob Hoyle, PIX News at 10.
It's one of the best kept secrets in fast food history, or so they say. Or maybe it was. Colonel Sanders' original Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe, that special blend of herbs and spices. Now, an ex-banker says he's cracked the code, sort of. That and cheddar biscuits coming up. Top stories coming right up, but first, it's a mystery that's fascinated generations and a secret that helped build an empire. Colonel Sanders' 11 herbs and spices. Now, a man from where else but Long Island says he has figured out what's in them. And here it is, at least according to this Long Islander. Oregano, dried sage, and more. It's all there in a new book called America's Most Wanted Recipes. I spoke with that author, Ron Douglas, and his hat. He explained one of his tricks for learning secret ingredients.
Occasionally we go to a restaurant and tell them that my wife is allergic to a lot of different ingredients, and we'd ask them what's in the actual dish because of her allergies. And sometimes they'd tell us, you know, depending on where we went.
Well, that was dumb of them, wasn't it? Douglas says his website gets more than 1 million hits each month, and he brought food, so we liked him.
Okay, I can't wait for that.
But I can't wait for this. I'm excited about this too.
Colonel Sanders' secret recipe now exposed. All 11 delicious herbs and spices revealed in a new cookbook.
Investigative chef and author of America's Most Wanted Recipes, Ron Douglas, is here. Ron, come on over here. How are you? Good morning to you.
Hey, Ron.
Hi, good morning.
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
The secret recipe for the Colonel's original recipe fried chicken. There they all are.
Get a pen ready.
The 11 herbs and spices and stuff. How'd you figure this stuff out?
Well, I'd like to take all the credit myself, but it's actually a collective effort between me and the people on my website, recipesecrets.net, and we have over 193,000 subscribers, and each week we publish different recipes, and they chime in, provide their feedback.
Well, there they are. I was expecting plutonium or something that you normally wouldn't put in with chicken. But that's all pretty normal stuff. I guess it's the combination.
Yes, the combination of those spices, as well as having a high-powered pressure cooker like they have in the restaurants that give it that gummy texture on the chicken.
And I go for gummy. By the way, if you're listening on radio, here it is: oregano, chili powder, dried sage, and I haven't committed the rest of the memory. I just lost it. Salt and pepper, paprika, onion, salt, garlic powder, and accent.
Right.
Biggest surprise?
I would say accent.
I agree. That is the surprise. Now, Ron, how many times did you have to taste it to make sure that you were getting the exact recipe?
Dozens of times I tried this recipe. I mean, the full recipe is available in my cookbook, America's Most Wanted Recipes, was just published by Simon & Schuster.
Yep.
Came out July 7th. It's available Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles.
Now, what about Kentucky Fried Chicken? Are they angry that you've got the recipe out there? Because I know people have tried before, but have they suggested any sort of lawsuit?
No, I mean, a lot of people have tried it, and, you know, I don't think I'm taking away any business from KFC. If anything, it's a promotion for them. I don't claim, you know, that it's their version. I claim that's my version of the recipe that's pretty close, if not exact.
That's genius, by the way.
Yeah, but what about the other 56 restaurants? I mean, you got stuff from TGI Fridays, Taco Bell, P.F. Chang's, Planet Hollywood. You've got the Captain Crunch chicken from Planet Hollywood. That's
that came out pretty well, yeah. Well, people really like to make these recipes at home, and as I said, these are my version of the recipes, along with the people on my recipe site, recipesecrets.net, and it's really a fun way to you know, make your favorite dishes at home, save money in the process, and get kudos from your family and friends by making these dishes. They won't believe that you made it yourself.
See, when I first saw your book, America's Most Wanted Recipes, I thought it was recipes of fugitives. Is it not?
When you're on the land and don't have a Bunsen burner, how do you get something hot?
Exactly.
That's the next cookbook I'm coming out with.
Right. Okay. Hey, let me ask you something. In the real world, when you find out what these recipes are, do you feel almost let down? Because don't we like the mystery of what's in that Friday's dish we just ordered? What's in the bucket we just waited online for?
Right, a little bit, but it's also the pleasure of knowing that you've kind of conquered that recipe and you can make it yourself whenever you want now.
Do you know what the secret sauce is in McDonald's?
Yeah, it's in the book, actually.
What?
It's all in the book.
This is too hot to handle.
It is America's Most Wanted Recipes. Ron Douglas, we thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you.
Thanks,
it's a pleasure.
Ron.
Thank you, sir. Don't go. Don't go. Just stay right here. We have some more talking to do, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, not to you, to somebody else.
You're watching the award-winning TV 10 and 55 News at 11 with Richard Rose and Michelle Imperato, weather with David Weiss, and sports with Kurt Semter. Now, the News at 11 continues.
And finally tonight, has a Long Island man cracked the code for KFC's famous original fried chicken?
This is big news, folks.
Yes.
The self-proclaimed foodie says he has, and now he's sharing the recipe with the rest of the nation.
It started out as a hobby for Ron Douglas, spending time in his Glen Cove kitchen, trying to figure out some of the most popular recipes from America's chain restaurants. This led to creating his own website, recipesecrets.net, and his own book, America's Most Wanted Recipes.
It was self-published, released it in 2003, and there were probably like 6 or 7 different versions of it throughout the years. But it was all only available on my website up until now.
Now Simon & Schuster has just released the book. The 34-year-old married father of 2 says to perfect the 200 recipes inside, it took a lot of testing in the kitchen, input from the members of his website, and even going to the restaurants themselves like KFC to see if they would hand over the secret recipe for their fried chicken.
A friend of my brother worked at KFC, and I went and paid him a visit, and I tried to see if he can get the recipe, but they really have a tight security on that thing.
Well, what's next for Ron? A second book is already in the works, and hopefully his own cooking show. But he says he's still a regular guy from Glen Cove.
It's a great feeling. It's new to me, and it's just a blessing all around.
In Glen Cove, Christina Renault, TV 10 at 55 News.
From the studios of Long Island's News Network, this is News 12, Long Island.
Listen up to this. A Glen Cove man says he has cracked some of the most coveted secret restaurant recipes. Now 34-year-old Ron Douglas, right here you see him, says He's figured out the top secret recipe for Colonel Sanders fried chicken. He's putting it in his new book, America's Most Wanted Recipes. The collection includes more than 200 recipes that emulate dishes at chains like Olive Garden, The Cheesecake Factory, and Red Lobster. If you want information on Ron Douglas and his cooking secrets, head to news12.com, click on numbers and links.
This is Eyewitness News.
A local man says he's cracked KFC's secret finger-licking good fried chicken recipe. Ron Douglas of Glen Clove, Long Island, says he spent years trying to come up with that original recipe. The former Wall Streeter claims he's figured it out, complete with the 11 herbs and spices that Colonel Sanders used. He started a website of copycat recipes of some of the nation's most popular restaurants, and now Simon & Schuster has published his book of those recipes featuring his KFC solution.